The battlefield's violence leaves visible scars, missing limbs, prosthetics, wheelchairs. We honor these sacrifices, but what about the wounds we can't see? The soldier who returns whole in body but fractured in mind. For centuries these invisible wounds were dismissed, misunderstood, and often blamed on the soldier's character. War forced medicine to confront the limits of its understanding. Surgeons could mend bodies, but the mind remained a mystery. The psychological toll of combat was a ghost, unseen, unspoken, and stigmatized. Only recently have we begun to recognize that the mind too can be wounded by war. Today we have better therapies and awareness, but stigma lingers. To truly honor those who suffered in silence, we must trace how our understanding of trauma evolved. This is the story of the war within. The Civil War's brutality left soldiers not just physically wounded, but mentally scarred. Doctors noticed symptoms, racing hearts, fatigue, despair, but called it soldier's heart, or nostalgia, blaming weak constitutions or lack of patriotism. The real cause, psychological trauma, was ignored. Soldiers with invisible wounds were seen as cowards, not casualties. The misery of war, constant danger, poor conditions, relentless loss, broke down even the strongest minds. There was no language or science to explain their suffering. These men battled not just war, but the judgment of their peers and the silence of society. The Civil War created a mental health crisis no one understood. The world wasn't ready to see the mind as vulnerable, but the seeds of understanding were planted. World War I unleashed horrors on a scale never seen before. Trenches, endless bombardment, and a new epidemic shell shock. Soldiers trembled, went mute, or collapsed with no physical wounds. At first, doctors blamed cowardice, but the sheer numbers forced a new explanation. Shell shock was born, a flawed but crucial step, linking trauma to the battlefield, not the soldier's character. Treatments were harsh, electric shocks, shaming, forced returns to battle. Some doctors, like W.H.R. Rivers, pioneered talk therapy, seeing trauma as a normal response to horror. Shell shock forced the military to admit the mind could break. The invisible wound was finally visible. The stigma remained, but the door to understanding had opened. The war within was no longer just a whisper. The world could not look away. By World War II, lessons from shell shock led to new approaches: combat fatigue, battle neurosis, and forward psychiatry. Soldiers were treated near the front quickly, with the expectation of recovery and return. Rest, food, and a chance to talk helped many regain their footing. This pragmatic, humane approach kept soldiers connected to their units and identities. Early intervention proved that breakdown was a normal reaction, not weakness. The military reduced long-term psychiatric casualties and preserved fighting strength. Forward psychiatry laid the groundwork for modern trauma care. Healing the mind became as urgent as healing the body. Vietnam brought a new kind of war and a new kind of psychological wound. Soldiers faced constant danger, isolation, and a hostile homecoming. They returned with flashbacks, anger, numbness, and nightmares, but no diagnosis. Old labels failed. Many veterans felt abandoned. Activist veterans and psychiatrists fought for recognition, forming support groups and identifying a clear pattern of trauma. In 1980, PTSD was officially named, a revolutionary step. Naming the condition validated suffering and opened doors to treatment. Veterans finally had language for their pain. The ghost of war trauma had a name. The journey toward healing could truly begin. Recognizing PTSD transformed treatment. CBT, EMDR, and family support became standard. The lessons from veterans shaped how we understand trauma in all walks of life. Families, too, became part of the healing process. Modern wars brought new challenges: IEDs, traumatic brain injuries, and the psychological toll of remote warfare. Each conflict forces us to update our understanding and care. The journey from soldier's heart to PTSD is a testament to empathy and science. We now see that wounds to the mind are as real as those to the body. Our duty is to ensure no one fights the war within alone.